right, so we got Jared out here. We are doing some bees.
So there's 3 separate pieces. You have your top cover, you have your high body and the bottom board.
Okay.
So they're not nailed. If you go to carry them, grab them from the bottom, or you're gonna be wearing 40,000 bees.
Nice. I know nothing about bees, guys. So, but this is, we're getting into it. We're getting into the bee thing. I've always wanted to mess with bees. I've got this thing, like, if you guys are probably familiar, like they're kind of not going extinct, but there's like, basically it's a shame that we use so much pesticide and we use terrible chemicals, and there's been a big decline in bees. So 1, getting honey for bees is cool. 2, they're pollinators. 3, save the bees, guys. Save the bees. So we're setting them up. Oh, she's learned a couple times, but she's definitely gonna learn today. So we're setting them up over here so they have an eastern exposure. So in the wintertime, they'll be happy there. Jared tells me they like to be out there in the sun. So that's gonna be their spot, kind of away from people as much as possible, but still close enough to where we want them to be. Bees will travel up to 5 miles, Jared?
Yeah, but down here it's probably 3.
All right, so down here in Florida, it'll be about 3 miles. But, and they need 1,000,000 flowers to get a
Tablespoon of honey, I think.
1,000,000 flowers to get a tablespoon of honey. So they,
Numbers out, but
yeah, I mean, these are rough numbers. Don't take our numbers, do your own research, but roughly 1,000,000 flowers for a tablespoon of honey. That just gives you an idea of like what it takes to make it happen. Oh, it smells good over here. Smells good. All right, so Jared's got a smoker lit up. Just a little, look at that. Just mulch chips in there, which is pretty cool. It's a nice little contraption there. This is like beeswax. Said this is good for your digestion, your gut. I grew some jackfruit here. I'm gonna give Jared these guys. This is 3 jackfruit. Come from Indonesia, Philippine area. These are some guava. He's gonna give me these. Got 1 right now, so that'll be 3 guava. And we're doing the metagay thing. The metagay. It's really the metamodern. We'll hit metamodern in a second here about what that's about. Suiting up. Yeah, boy. You look legit. You look like you know what you're doing.
Put the hat.
Oh. Nice.
You might want that.
All right.
Super's on for you.
All right. Yeah, I was just gonna do it like that chick on the gram, man.
You can
On
do it, but you're
YouTube,
gonna
man.
get itchy.
Yeah. A girl that just walks up to bees and just does whatever. This girl's crazy. What's her name? Do we know her name? I'll have to post it. I'll have to find her.
Texas Bee Works, I think is the
Texas
company.
chick. This
Texas Bee Works.
Texas Bee Works. All right. Yeah, this chick's crazy. She just walks up to bees. Like, people just call. That's how she gets all these hives. She just like goes and like collects them. Like people's houses. Like pest control companies call her. Nuts. All right, he's getting pretty serious out here. Pretty serious. Oh, boy's not even playing games.
You always work them from behind, but opening these up.
Get them from behind is what Jared says. Oh boy.
They're hot.
All right, we're gonna, there we go. Look at that, that's
I think
amazing.
we're gonna let them cool down before you put those supers on.
Sounds good. I don't know what
Get
he's
right in
doing,
here if you want. They're not bad.
but he's doing something. All right, so he's smoking them out, hot boxing them. He's doing something there. They got a nice sound to them. Nice rumble.
I'll super this one for you. So we'll put the cover right back on this.
And what's super mean?
Put your honey super on.
So super is where the honey comes from.
The honey super, yeah.
Honey super. Gotcha.
Yo, sir. Dolly, you're not gonna like that. First couple hives, congrats.
Nice, dude. That's... All right, Jared and I are back here in the food forest back corner. We're gonna put a turmeric in the ground. Jared had picked this up from a guy named Green Dreams. Pete. Pete Canaris. I'll link to his YouTube channel. This guy's amazing. Jared and I went to undergrad at FGCU. They were big at the time that we were there. They were just getting the funding for the food forest. I was on one of these committees and we were like trying to get this funding. The year we left, they actually built it. And anyway, that concept stuck with me, stuck with Jared. He's got a food forest at his property. This one is one that we started about maybe a year ago, but we got it fenced like a few months ago. So now we got like real progress going on. And now we're just starting to pack it. Jared brought some guavas. We're gonna plant those. Got avocado feedstock going on up over here. Or root stock rather. We'll be chopping these in like a year and grafting onto them because there's a whole thing with avocado. Basically, you always need a grafted avocado because you've got like a 1 in 10,000 chance of, in 7 or 10 years when it fruits, of that fruit being a fruit you actually like to taste. Avocados are very rare, so are apples. So they're grafted. It's a grafted game. So this is root stock that we have when we make guac and things like that. These are like store-bought avocados, and we'll be cutting them and then grafting. I'm gonna buy a few more, store-bought avocados so that I know what they are and I can like trust them. And you can actually. I've got a super Haas, bro.
They're all Haas from Mexico.
Mexico's Haas. So let me show you what I mean. This is feedstock from the original. And then that is where they grafted onto the tree. And so now whatever this thing grows, it'll grow the Super Haas brand. So what I'll do is I'll use that feedstock. We'll plant additionals when they get larger and we'll graft onto them. And I would like to have a bunch of avocados because that's one of my big speculations this decade is that avocados are going to become very rare in North America. And you say, why? It has to do with the currency. We import our avocados and they're about $1 an avocado right now if you guys go to the store. When our currency becomes weaker, and it will over the next 5, 7, 10 years for sure, the import avocado will be extremely expensive. And it might, Jared's in trucking, but it might also get to the spot where in my head, I think there'll be less demand because of the higher price. So therefore the price will go even higher. Yeah, because there'll be less trucks coming. So they'll be there. It'll be a luxury good in my opinion. So I want to grow as many avocados as I can for the fruit and farmers markets and things like that. And then I want to grow avocados to sell them for also profit and things like that. But we're just at the small stage at the moment. At some point here, I anticipate we'll have hundreds of them as we eat them, consume them, make guac, and continue to grow them and then share them. Like I'm trying to get as many in people's yards as possible because I think that over the next decade, 2 decades, we're going to have to transition as a country from where we imported everything to where we're going to start exporting things, in my mind, moving forward. So anyway, this is a little update on the food forest. Got Blueberry Hill. Got to add more blueberries here. Jared, I need to learn how to propagate blueberries. This is my initial. What's that? You don't know? Miracle fruit tree is back. She was dead a while ago, but she's coming back strong. We've got all sorts of stuff happening out here. Still small, like first year here in the food forest. We're figuring out now that we're letting the chickens out that we're not gonna do any vegetables over here, and we're gonna move vegetables over to there. So in the winter months, we'll start working vegetables, but I'll fence it in. We'll like make a legit raised bed vegetable situation. Wife does really good with that. And then we'll add more permaculture trees here. And then I've got a ton of mulch. So I keep adding mulch. It breaks down and creates a good soil. Here in Florida, we have terrible soil composure. It's like all sand, but we're getting some good black decomposing soil out here, and it's coming together. But over the next few years, I anticipate this place to just be stacked. And we're gonna add on a little bit towards the dump truck there where Jared's got these 2 guavas he brought. We're gonna add, that's all gonna be beds and fenced in, keep the deer away from it, because we definitely have a deer problem. And I don't know, what do you think, 3 years to be off grid?
That's up to you.
5? You think we'd go faster than 3?
I think you're ready.
All right, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. The idea here is that we could survive without needing too much supplementation from grocery stores.
I'm tired of these fire ants.
There's still a few things that we'll probably have to get at the store. But the idea is that if I have a pretty good idea where we're going economics wise, and when we lose the reserve currency status, Americans have no idea what it's going to be like to become a net export nation. They have no idea what that transition is going to be. Just to give you an idea, we're importing more than like 50% of everything we have in this country. At some point, we'll have to export way more than 50% of everything we produce in this country, which means we can consume about 80% less than we do now. So I think over the next decade, 2 decades, America is going to become a lot poorer, which isn't a problem, but I want to be part of the transition period. I want my landscaper crowd to be part of the transition period. The idea that they're putting cosmetic looking plants that require pesticide and fertilizer and don't grow any food, you guys, the money opportunities are going to be in the edible foods throughout this decade, and they take a while. Those avocados are going to take a few years. It's not going to be happening anytime soon, and it takes a while, and there'll be a short squeeze. There won't be supply, and the guys that start growing stuff now will have stuff to sell in 4 or 5 years, and that's going to be the big opportunity. We're going to drop these guavas in. So we got a guava, got 1 guava, that'll be 2, and then Jared brought me a third, so we'll be 3 guavas. You can make juice out of them and stuff, right?
Yeah, I do it almost every day now.
Nice.
Yeah, Cat showed me the way.
Nice. Cool. I'm gonna go get mine in over here then. I'm gonna expand the food forest this winter. I'm gonna add additional poles here. This will be screened in or fenced in as well to keep the deer away. And then I want to keep the chickens away from, I want to keep the chickens in an area where they can't mess anything up, and keep them outside of, I'll have more sensitive plants in here. I don't want the chickens around, but at least the chickens will be able to free range in there and they do a pretty good job of keeping it clean. They scratch and eat weeds and things like that. So it's kind of nice, kind of useful. But anyway, I'll be bringing in mulch chips next week. I'll be filling this whole area with chips. So as I plant it, because what I found with the food forest so far, Jared's kind of the same boat. You don't do it all at once. You're just like $100 here, $200 here. Your friend gives you something there. You grow something from a seed here. You just keep going as you go. And then it starts to get where you have an abundance of stuff. There's the red hibiscus over there. I have so many of those now because of the hydro tank. I'm going to give a bunch to Jared, but I've been able to figure out how to propagate them. And those things grow immediately fast. You can give someone one of those and it'll be that size within a year. And you can literally, we have salad every night from stuff we grow now. It wouldn't take more than 8 or 10 of those bushes to feed a family. It'd be kind of bland. You'd want to add a few different varieties to it, but it wouldn't take much to feed a bunch of people. I know it might sound some sort of extreme to some people, but you know that your food doesn't have pesticide. You know that you can just go out and cut it. It's convenient. But also with these shutdowns and these lockdowns and the way that, the World Economic Forum and other really sketchy folks want to shift society, they want to create a dependent class of people. This is an independent way to get around that, called the metamodern movement. But I call it the meta gay because our country's gay, and you can't come after gay. I'm a meta gay, and you can't come after me. You can't come after me. I got rainbow flag, bro. I got rainbow playset. You can't come after me. You can't touch that. It's a hate crime if you come for me. It's a hate crime if you come for me. I'm a protected entity. I went from being a white male to a meta gay. You can't touch that. Yeah. So I'm gonna hit some water on these guys. Water and mulch. Water and mulch. All right, so we're watering in the guavas. This area will be combed out. What I'll do is I will drop these to keep the deer away from for now, since we're not going to do any crazy fencing for the moment. And this winter, when it's cooler, we'll do some fencing. Got some bananas happening over here. But yeah, we'll be fencing out. And yeah, so this will be the next area the food forest will start expanding out to. And then I'll put some passion vine, which is kind of like a good green hedge here. Be like all nice aesthetically. Keep the chickens away from it, so the bases of them will be here. Keep the deer away from it because it'll be fenced out, and then those will create. The idea is like every square foot produce food, yield, and thriving on neglect, right, my man?
That's right.
Thriving on neglect. It's a shame we didn't get to do this at FGCU.
They're not really being neglected right now, but they will be.
Yeah, and the food forest at FGCU is not really coming along. Like, it kind of shows, like, when you put hippies in front, like when you like, hey, hippies, do this communally in a communism-like way, like it looks like shit at FGCU. So if you guys are watching from FGCU, up your game, because it's sad, it's pathetic. You think they overpick?
Yeah, they're
kids are out there. Yeah.
But
It's a cool food forest, but it's got so much random in there, like coffee trees and like, I mean, it's cool, but it doesn't produce yield.
I think it's more of a learning.
Yeah, probably is. Probably a learning thing. Anyway, our food forests are coming together. They're coming. We're expanding them slowly but surely, putting them out, getting everything more systematized. I want to be able to route where when it rains or also on the well, but like I don't want to have to service the chickens anymore. I want the chickens to be I want to be able to leave for like 2 weeks and chickens just take care of themselves. That's the next level stuff. Automating chicken, it's hard, fine, but we're learning. And